Poor bard. Always the one who orchestrates destiny's dance, yet remains unchosen in its waltz.
Who are you?
Who am I? The real question is, who are you?
I don't know.
Why tarry in this place? Your bloodline isn't the keeper of your truth. The one you sought as a father embrace chose blood ties over your spirit. Can you fault him? The barbarian is bound by kinship, entwined in love's embrace. And now, this monk. Do you truly deem yourself his choice? Do you truly believe love graced his heart?
Shut up!
And what of this woman of his past? The truth rests within your very being. She embodies his chosen path, the harmony of his heart's melody, a symphony you'll forever hear, but never join.
You're lying. He would never.
Your essence, a fleeting whisper in another solitude, a temporary salve for the void. They'll never acknowledge your radiance, never grasp your worth. He'll never extend his hand to you, and in this symphony of choices, you remain unheard, unclaimed, forever adrift.
No, you're wrong. They care about me.
Concern? Such folly! For care is but a fading echo in this world. I shall demonstrate. Let them lose you. Behold how swiftly they'll stray, how swiftly they'll replace your presence. No lingering glance, no shadow of embrace upon your return. In but a fleeting breath, you'll become a passing whisper, a momentary spark in their memory. Time's cruel veil will render you a distant, forgotten melody. For your friends, your lover, your home, your world vanish.
Lovette, I'm here. Don't worry. It was just a nightmare. It's gone now. You're safe.
Miss Lovette, you are alive! Thank you, Goddess. May your grace be forever loved.
What? What's going on? Where are we?
Do you not remember? We made a quick stop to save Candy's village from the attack of a Bahir that lived in a cave. We managed to defeat it, but you got injured in the process. You barely died. I'm glad we had Candy there to support us.
Hey, you helped my village a lot, so I owe you a lot too. You fought so bravely. All these zoom and poo-poo. Awesome.
Thank you for taking care of me. Sorry I've been a burden.
You've been sleeping for almost 2 days. It seemed like you were suffering from loads of nightmares too.
It's fine.
Is it?
Yes, no need to worry. Really. They're just nightmares.
Do you know what helps with nightmares? Having fun with your friends when you're awake. Feast your eyes on this magical creation, my special love brush stew, packed with the moonlit veggies, storytelling spices, and a secret dash of kindness. It's like a hug in a bowl.
Well, I don't eat meat. Neither vegetables, to be honest. It's a real nightmare when you can hear them scream.
No wonder you're slim as a little stick.
Well, I have some carrots. Would they be okay? If I make them a quick ship?
Yes, Candy, that's fine, thank you.
Dive in, ladies.
It's been so long since I've eaten such a flavorful dish. Candy, you are the chef of my heart.
It was really tasty indeed.
Oh, you are the sweetest. Now, what about story time?
Story time?
Yes! We're going to talk about love and romance and girls and boys.
Maybe not.
I'll go first!
Here we go.
Once upon a time, in Heathgrove, there was this family. They made perfumes, the kind that made folks fall head over heels. Life was good until more shops popped up and theirs had to close. The girl's dad left to find work, hoping to bring them all back together when he would be finally settled. Him and her mom kept sending love letters, but it wasn't easy. The mom cried a lot, raising the girl on her own. The girl, a bit of a troublemaker, decided to go find her dad in the city and bring him back. 'Cause, maybe being together was all they needed to be happy again. Sometimes, love is better than anything else. And that's the story. Just a simple tale from Heathgrove. So, yes, maybe you don't need much to be happy. Maybe the people you love are enough for it.
That was a beautiful story, Candy. I think the girl is very wise, and her parents should be proud.
Indeed.
I think they are. So, who's next? Mrs. Lovette, why don't you share a story about love?
Once upon a time, there lived a girl who felt a persistent loneliness within her, residing in the shadow of her absent father and sister who had departed when she was just a baby. Determined to fill the void within her and help whoever might need her, she embarked on an adventure to become stronger, meeting numerous people along the way. She was never alone, but she still was lonely. She felt the darkness within her, even though she shined brighter than the stars. In the course of her journey, fate intertwined her path with that of a tiefling, a figure of striking appearance, with reddish skin and sharp features. His dark hair falling into his face couldn't hide his black eyes reminding the abyss, and his pupils shimmering in blue-green hues. He was the first who managed to see the darkness within the girl, and she got afraid at first, like an artist who is afraid that their art will expose them. But he was almost the same as her, the reflection in her mirror, and like two shadows dancing into the night, they became lovers, a passionate dance between the two figures. Amidst their passionate entwining, a revelation emerged. Delving into the tiefling's mind, the girl uncovered a figure from his past, a girl with green eyes. Later on, the same girl appeared into their lives. And our girl? Fearful and insecure, she confronted the specter of his past, only to find herself haunted by the prospect of never being anyone's first choice. And she did what she always did best. She ran. She was never anyone's first choice anyway. Why would she be his? And then a powerful man came and banished her away. She never got the opportunity to say anything to her beloved. She was a coward. Maybe she still is.
Oh, such a romantic and sad story. But I love the moral of it.
Which is?
That it's not always about being the first choice. Sometimes it's about being the right one.
Well, that's a fair point.
And what about you, Miss Fiona? Why are you so quiet? Share another story with us.
Well, I don't know if it's a good idea.
Please!
Come on, Siona.
Okay, I'll do my best. Once, there was a ghetto who lived in a dream. Her world was surrounded by the warmness of her tree, and later on, her friends. However, her dream turned into a nightmare when she lost her precious tree. She felt so small and weak. After that, she became a shadow of herself. No feelings, no ambitions, no hope, hollow inside. But fate had other plans. A black-hooded mysterious traveler with dark eyes and a shaved head joined their group. He helped them in their adventures, and the girl exchanged some glances with him. Those glances brought feelings back to her, feelings like longing and anticipation. Flowers even started blooming from her burned skin. The man saved her in a way. Just when she found the courage to confess her love to him, tragedy struck. They both died. However, in that very spot, a tree grew, half withered, half bloomed. Their friends couldn't bear to lose them, so they attempted to bring them back by going back in time. The girl returned, but the man and her best friend got trapped, giving her a second chance maybe. She still doesn't know if all this was just a dream, but she vowed to save them, even if it meant risking everything.
Oh, another great story with more lessons to learn.
More lessons?
What is wrong with you people? Don't you hear your own stories? The story teaches us that love is timeless and vast, and we shouldn't take our loved ones for granted. Time is limited for most, unlike elves who have more of it. So it reminds us to express our feelings without fear because time is valuable, and we should make the most of it.
And what if they don't feel the same way anymore?
What if they don't? It's better to find out if they don't feel the same rather than spending time wondering, doubting, and thinking about what ifs. Sometimes even a straightforward no can be redeeming. Okay, that was so much fun! You both have vivid imaginations!
Yes,
Yes.
very vivid.
Imagination.
I can even feel my goddess's tears of happiness for this night.
These are not tears. It's rain.
Quickly, to the tiny hut. Welcome to another episode of the D&D podcast. Today is a special day, full of love and hearts and romance since it's Valentine's Day. You totally got the vibe on the intro, so you definitely know what we're going to discuss. Romance in D&D. So get ready for it. Let the questions begin. Val, why don't you take the initiative for your first question?
Of course. I want to know what's been your most memorable romantic subplot or relationship in a D&D campaign. It may be about a campaign of yours or any other campaign.
Oh, God. Actually, do I have a favorite? The oh-so-intense and heart-pounding relationship between Keyleth and Vax from Critical Role. I mean, that slow burn, the tangled mess of emotions, and the sheer anticipation of every interaction, it's a roller coaster of tension, awkwardness, and surprise that leaves my heart racing just by thinking about it. The episode in which Vax says, "You know I'm in love with you, right?" And Marisha is stunned, and I am stunned every time, for sure. Sure, Vex and Percy had their own magical connection. It was funny and sexy and playful. Definitely my number one choice for real life. But for fantasy and storytelling, nothing beats the depth and tragedy of Vaxleaf. From their challenging moments to the sheer passion igniting every scene. It's a love story that sticks with you. The anticipation, the difficulty, and that long-awaited payoff. It's pure D&D Romance gold.
There's no way anyone can forget the Vaxleth romance. Even in a million years from now, people will use this as an example to describe true love in a D&D campaign. And every day that Raven came to visit her.
I cry every time.
It sends shivers down my spine immediately every time I read or hear the sentence, and I will never shut up about them. They gave true meaning to my whole existence, and I'm not even being dramatic, which I am. I always am. I remember discussing it with you as well when we first met,
Oh, yeah.
being so invested in the whole plot, but mostly their story. And the fact that I called you crying after I watched the last episode because you finished the campaign earlier than me took me months to get over that ending. It's extraordinary to watch two people fall so deeply in love endgame. A game run and orchestrated by your own partner and your best friend. And on top of that, be happy about them too. Matt was literally crying in the last episode. I remember. It's so healthy to see this as well, because most people would just make a big deal out of it or even take it personally, but not them. So yeah, when it comes to epic and memorable romances, Vax and Keyleth, until the day I die.
And I'm sure we're not the only ones. I'm sure. I feel it in my core, okay?
Probably.
So, how do you approach romantic storylines in D&D? Do you prefer organic in-game development or more pre-planned narratives?
See, this episode is going to be the end of me, I'm telling you. How do I approach them? I run away from them.
So well.
No, I'm just kidding. I love love, okay? I do love love, but it's just love doesn't love me somehow. Especially when it comes to video games, as we discussed already in an older episode, and D&D Romance. So when I started playing D&D, or let's say Pathfinder, I think because I'm that old, I didn't even know how to roleplay. Getting into Critical Role made me see the real meaning of this game, that it's not just about rolling dice and killing monsters. Hence, Romance became a soft spot for me. I was longing to feel what Keyleth and Vax felt. I didn't want to force it though. And then it happened. Happened so organically and magically, I forgot I wasn't my character IRL. Still to this day, holds a special place in my heart. Anyway, though, I did try, after that, with a different character of mine, to experience a planned, arranged marriage kind of thing with one of my friends. We did try, and it was enjoyable in a way, but we were cringing a bit at some point. So we stopped trying. And I also remember a time I was romancing an NPC in a Vampire the Masquerade campaign, which it was by far an amazing but horrifying experience because the GM is literally evil incarnate.
Yeah, I can agree on this. Spiros. Hi.
Spiros. Hi. Well, you know now why I'm traumatized. Approaching romance in D&D nowadays, though, is hard for me after all these years. And I don't see this as something that can happen again in the near future, but I do hope that I will experience it again, maybe in a different way. But I want to know about your experiences with this, Steffi.
Don't say that. You never know what life holds for you.
Yeah, right.
Stop it. So, I have some experience with both of these concepts, actually. So let's start with the pre-planned. When I first started playing D&D with my friends, we haven't even imagined that romance was a thing. And then I started watching Critical Role back in the days when they were running campaign 1, and I saw the interaction between Keyleth and Vax, and I was speechless. I wasn't the only one, though. My friend was also a fan of Critical Role, and he was also in shock with romance between them. And I remember us talking on the phone, and we were like, dude, is that even a thing? Do you want to try it for our next adventure and see how this works out? And we both agreed, because we love RP. So when we started playing our next campaign, our characters were a bit flirtatious from the beginning. We had some beautiful moments, and I thought it was the best romance story I have ever played, but later on I found out that I was completely wrong, because many years later, when I started playing Lovette, Lovette was a typical bard, flirtatious with everyone and charming and seducing and a party animal, and she even had a flaw, I think the I'm a sucker for a pretty face. But later on in the campaign, she met Exceed, and accidentally, they happened to have similar backstories and life events, and they matched. And things happened organically through the RP, and they clicked, and it made so much sense. And it was a precious storytelling that doesn't compare to a pre-made one, because every interaction is genuine. Even more if there is a slow burn and you don't know how the other one feels. Do they feel the same way as I do? Do they not? Oh my god, why did they even do that? I'm dying. Anyway, the sucker for a pretty face is out of the picture now. Character development. So in my opinion, don't push it. Let the characters get to know each other, and through your interactions and journeys, you will know if it is meant to go that way. And trust me, it is definitely worth it.
It is worth it 100%. But tell me, Zephy, now, what challenges or benefits do you see in incorporating romance into a tabletop RPG setting, considering player dynamics and storytelling?
You know, bringing romance into a tabletop RPG setting can be a real game changer, both in terms of challenges and benefits. So on the upside, it adds this whole new layer of depth to the storytelling. Characters become more nuanced and the emotional stakes skyrocket. But of course, it's not all roses. You've got to navigate it delicately. Player dynamics come into play, and you want to make sure everyone is comfortable with the level of romance involved. Communication! Communication is key! Plus, the narrative should serve the overall story and not overshadow the main plot. When done right, though, it can lead to some truly memorable and impactful moments, turning your RPG campaign into an epic tale of both swords and hearts. DMs must be very excited when this happens. They have a very, very good way to break you. Count us emotional junkies in for your plans. What about you, Val?
That last part that you said is so true. I believe that the worst and best thing you can do as a player is to have feelings. Care about something or someone. It's going to be your biggest weakness, especially for DMs who incorporate bits of your backstory into the main story. You'll have to prepare for a bumpy ride, I'm afraid, but consider yourself lucky to even experience this. The real fear that will fuel you to deliver the most dramatic and emotional roleplay of your life. As you said, it can definitely be tricky to incorporate romance in a campaign, but I think casual flirting is an easy way of dipping your toes in the water at first. You can determine other people's boundaries this way, and you can set your own in an easy and playful way. Unfortunately, you're going to have to accept that it can be all about them being the prince and you being the princess. It's a love story, baby. Just say yes, okay? We have to fight aboleths too, you know?
Have you ever faced moments where romantic role-playing made other players uncomfortable? And how do you navigate boundaries when exploring romantic themes?
Again, from my experience, I don't think I ever had the opportunity to take extra time to do something like that extensively. The few times I experienced it, it was brief and beautiful, mostly hinting on things. I do like the mysterious kind of romance that leaves you wondering and staying up all night, not knowing if both characters feel the same way, playing over and over every word and conversation in your head, a slow burn, a cryptic desire if you wish. I don't think I ever made anyone uncomfortable with my romance, to be honest, but being on the other side of the table, watching a romance between two characters unfold, I have to say, I get more excited and invested in it than in my real love life. That's sad. But it is magical to watch, and I get more emotional than you can possibly comprehend because I want them to have a happily ever after and end up together in the end. Keyleth and Vax forever, my heart and my soul. I don't think, though, there are boundaries for me when it comes to love, even if it's fictional, but I take a cryptic, slow burn romance than a cheesy lovey-dovey any day. What about your experiences, Zephy?
I personally love a good romance on the table, and I don't care how much time you will spend on this, I will root for you 100% in case you give content to the table. For example, if you spend the next 20 minutes, half an hour spending time with your loved one without sharing something important to, for a character, okay, this can get a bit tiresome. I remember a date Lovette's friend Drake had with his girlfriend Corta, who was an NPC. Okay, it was fun and great for the first 10 minutes, but it lasted long without giving anything more. They were just teasing each other, reading the menu, deciding what to order, talking about Corta's favorite foods, Drake demanding her favorite plate or something, and after 25 minutes we were off. But I should be honest here, I have also taken enough time for moments like these, but I swear that if I take time, I try to make it meaningful. I try to learn something more about the other character, their backstory, or give information about mine. And, if the DM is interested, he can take many things from this conversation and use them later on, usually to break us. But I'm fine with that. It gives content. But I love it when the other players are also invested in this. For example, there is a D&D group with the name Bards of New York. They are amazing, and if you don't know them, you should go and check them out. So, two of the players, Amber and Lily, are having a beautiful slow burn romance going on. I'm a fan. And what I find equally fascinating are the reactions of the table, how supportive they are to them, giving them the time and space they need to create their scene, and how happy or sad they seem, depending on the scene. I love the same thing with Sam and Taliesin, if you remember, when the Vaxlith scene happened.
Yeah.
They were so thrilled and happy and in shock, and their reactions made me even happier than the romance itself. So be supportive, not just for the romances, for everything that happens on the table.
But who doesn't love seeing their friends expressing their longing for each other on camera? Tell me.
I do.
I do too. On another note, though, what advice would you give to players looking to introduce romantic elements into their D&D campaigns while keeping the story engaging for all players involved?
Introducing romantic elements into D&D campaign can add a whole new dimension to the storytelling, but it's crucial to approach it with care. First and foremost, communication is key. I'll say that again.
Always.
So, before weaving romantic subplots, have an open conversation with your fellow players and the dungeon master to gauge their comfort levels. Establish clear boundaries and ensure that everyone is on board with the idea. It's about creating a collaborative and inclusive experience, making sure that the romantic elements enhance the overall narrative rather than dominate it. When incorporating romance, focus on character development and growth. Ensure that the romantic storyline is not isolated, but rather interwoven with the broader campaign arc. Make it a part of the character's personal journey, allowing moments of vulnerability and connection that resonate with the group. Additionally, keep in mind the diverse interests of the players. Not everyone might be equally invested in romantic arcs, so balance is crucial. Strive to maintain a healthy balance between romance and the main storyline, allowing each player's character to shine individually while contributing to the overall engagement of the group. Ultimately, it's about creating a rich and immersive world where everyone feels heard and invested in the unfolding story. What do you think about this, Val?
I totally agree with everything you said. Balance is crucial in everything we do in life anyway. But sometimes we get carried away with our emotions, especially when we connect with people in such a beautiful way. We have to establish from the beginning that we're open to this kind of roleplay and make sure we use the time we have equally, as you said, both for the main story and for our personal arc. My advice is first try to determine what kind of romantic interactions you like in-game. Sometimes real-life romance and D&D romance can mean two different things. For example, I love romantic gestures and a dramatic, slow burn, unrequited kind of love story in a D&D. I prefer to use words of affirmation as my love language. As a player, big poetic words kill me, literally. But as Val, I think I'm too far from this in real life. If a character came to me in game to express their desire for my character, I would literally die on the table. But if someone comes to me in real life to do the same, I'd probably laugh it out or even, I don't know, won't even believe them.
Maybe.
So, probably. Run away.
And I ran away.
And I walk away.
Yes, Max.
So once you find out what you like, then you just need to look out for signs from all the other players or ask them first what they feel comfortable with. Exactly as you said, Zephy, because they might not even like the idea of this. And after that, you can all go ahead and let yourselves free to express yourselves the way their characters your characters think it's right. In game or out of game, falling in love is part of our growth process. We evolve when we feel emotions and connect with them, so it is a vital part of our character's growth. And since we're talking about personal growth, I'd like to ask you a question on a more serious note now. How do you differentiate between in-character romance and out-of-game relationships with fellow players while role-playing?
You didn't joke when you said the hard questions.
Yeah.
So let's make one thing clear at first. The game and your real life are two different things. Yes, you might feel things during the gameplay through your character, like reading a book. Get excited and sad, etc., but it is nothing more than excitement. But, there is a huge but, there are many people who consciously or subconsciously insert personal stuff inside their characters. They may be fears, life experiences, flaws, ambitions, characteristics, either mental or even physical, and so many more. On the contrary, to a professional actor who just takes the character and the script someone else had decided for them, you create the whole character by yourself from scratch. So it is pretty common to merge your character to your personality. You may find yourself doing that, and you may also find your fellow players doing it. And let me make another thing clear. Sometimes you may create a character to learn how to face your own demons in a safer space, to learn yourself a little bit better. You have no idea how much helpful D&D can be for your mental and emotional health, but that's a thing for another episode. What I am trying to say is that your character may fall in love with another character, but this character may have fragments of the player's soul and mind. And if you find that out, you realize that you don't only get to know and bond with a character, but also the player behind them. And that can lead to very happy situations or very sad situations. And one thing that actors are the best at is that they don't take anything inside them. If there is a scene that they may cry and scream and feel like they're in total pain, when the cut drops, they can be pretty cool and funny in an instant. Because they are professionals, they know how to separate a role from the real self and feelings. Of course, not all of us are professional actors, but it's important to separate our in-game relationships with the out-of-game relationships. Still, shit happens sometimes, even to the best actors. So just flirt with your best friends who you already know and you should be fine. What do you say?
Well, I have to say that you clearly covered everything I had in mind with your answer. I'd lie if I said that I'm not talking from experience, because I myself have been a victim of this, and I have also been guilty of not being able to differentiate real life romance with in-character romance. It can happen to everyone, and you shouldn't feel ashamed of this. It is tricky when you become one with your character, the character you clearly created in a way that they have every single personal trait of yours, the character who is part of your personal growth and journey. I can't hide that nowadays I tend to prefer watching other players romancing each other than experience it myself for this exact reason. Because sometimes life gets in the way too, and things get too complicated in and out of game, so you're more vulnerable for this to happen. This can either end up being a great story you tell your kids, a story of how you met their father while playing D&D, or it can make you bitter and scar you for life and forbid yourself to play D&D for a while to get over it. JK, or maybe I'm not. But trust me when I say, it won't always be like that. We can't change the past, but we can learn from it. And by learning, I mean learning from our mistakes, how to adapt in this kind of situations to get the best possible outcome next.
Okay, so I think it's a good time to change the vibe a little bit, don't you think?
Please.
Can you share a funny or unexpected romantic moment that occurred during one of your D&D sessions?
Back on a more positive note then, yes.
Yay!
I'll talk about Siona, of course. There was someone who was really special to her. You probably already heard her talking about a human warlock called Far. When they met, Siona was really insecure about herself, since half of her skin was completely burnt. Hiding from people was something inevitable for her. She was disgusted by her appearance, and she didn't think that anyone would ever like her anymore. So fast forward to when he joined the party. May somehow could sense that Siona had a crush on him and decided to bring them closer. So Siona became so awkward and shy and embarrassed, she accidentally used Thorn Whip to grab May and push her towards her so she wouldn't talk too far about her.
That hurt.
It hurt, and she did damage to you. But she immediately went and used Cure Wounds to heal me, obviously.
That's true.
Another emotional, unexpected moment for me was when Far was thanking her about saving them once. Forgive me what I don't remember the details of the fight, but I do know it was something that happened on a bridge that was collapsing. I don't know. I don't remember the details. I never do, to be honest. And the moment he made her feel important and proud of herself, half of her arm started healing and changing colors, and it looked healthy again. And some of her hair turned ginger again, just for a few moments. And it was because she felt alive again. She felt like there's still a reason to fight.
I loved this moment with the ginger hair and the flowers that were growing. It was a cool moment.
We can all thank our DM for that because it was his idea. I want to hear about your funny or unexpected romantic moments, Effie.
For me, I have so many beautiful moments on my mind, but one of my favorites was the one that was mentioned through the intro when Lovette saw through Exceed's mind with the detect thoughts. They were sitting in the forest and he asked her to take a glimpse inside his mind. So she did, and she appeared in an empty space and there was a mirror in front of her. The mirror showed another figure upside down following her moves. It seemed like grotesque painting. She touched it, and once she did, she became a part of Exceed's memories. Beautiful and painful memories. The painful ones were more, to be honest. Some of them Lovette could relate to. Well, I can't go into more details, but he ended up inside a cell, depressed and lonely, and then the detect thoughts stopped, and he grabbed her hand and told her that he doesn't feel like this anymore, and that Lovette was a new part of his life that he wanted to explore, a new experience, and he kissed her on the cheek, I think. That's when she gave him a red string from her corset and tied it on his wrist. If you know about Japanese and Chinese folklore, so you know the thought behind it. It was such an emotional moment and so great because I've learned the character's backstory in a few minutes in the most beautiful way. I also cried a bit, maybe, but I'm a crybaby, so
same.
Yeah. And I didn't even talk much in this scene, but in the end, you don't have to talk a lot in order to witness a beautiful scene. Sometimes it's enough to just sit there and listen to your fellow players. So yeah, I think this one will stay for me for a long time. So I guess it is a good time to wrap it up. It was a heavy session.
I hope it didn't ruin your evening with all this drama. Do let us know if you have any romance stories you'd like to share with us, and we will post them on our Instagram stories. Also, I would like to wish my lovely Bard a very happy birthday. 14th of February, Valentine's Day is your birthday. May you always inspire us with your charming aura and your magnetic smile. We all love you and worship you like Lovette's fans do.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy we celebrated together, even if you're far away. And I cast Wish, so you can teleport here in an instant and cook for me your delicious food while dressing up as our favorite characters and playing D&D with our friends all night and all day. I don't care. Am I asking too much?
I wish I could just... You know what I want to say? I can't even talk.
It is so good to be true.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, guys, for listening. And we will see you again for our next episode. Until then, may all your rolls be a natural 20. Bye!
Bye!